Hey guys, in this week's tip, we're going to take a look at setting up a points-based club promotion within your store. On tap, our Baker's Dozen Milk Club. First, we're going to create the points buckets that's going to hold all those visits when the customers come in the store and buy milk. Next, we've got to associate those points with the various and relevant milk items that you have within your store. And then lastly, we're going to set up that electronic coupon. We're going to test it out, do a few things here and there, and make sure all this stuff works just like it's supposed to do. So without further ado, let's hop in. So as we step through this, I just want to make sure everyone is clear that this video doesn't have everything to do with milk. It could be milk, it could be the baby club, it could be the wine club, it could be the meat club, whatever the kind of club that you want to set up. It also doesn't have to be a baker's dozen. In this video, we're going to set it up so when the customer purchases his or her 13th item or gallon, let's say, of milk, they're going to get that 13th gallon for free. Now, in your side of the story, maybe you'll want the numbers to differ a little bit. So how we're going to do that is we're going to utilize the point system within SMS to count the number of gallons in this case, or if it's the baby club, the number of diaper packs, or whatever the heck it is. All we're using the point club for is to count the number of times the customer meets whatever criteria it is that we're getting ready to set up. So I'll show you throughout the video how you can adjust the numbers and all that sort of thing. But for now, let's go ahead and set up that point bucket that's going to collect the number of times the customers buy gallons of milk. So in order to set up that bucket to collect all those times a customer purchases milk, we're going to utilize under the customer menu, shopper level. I'm going to drag it over here in the middle so everybody can see it. Now you've probably already got some shopper levels set up in your store. You probably got a regular customer, maybe an employee discount, maybe an interdepartment transfer of some type. So if you got these other preferred customer and points customer, we'll get to you in just a second. But let's just assume that you've never used points before in your store and this is your first attempt at it. So what we're going to say is that all regular customers, every customer in our store qualifies for a milk club if he or she wants to. So what we're going to do is put our little cursor right here and we're going to expand through the more details button here. Just press it a couple times so we can open this window up. Now drag it up here so we can make some better use of it. All right, so adding that bucket that's going to collect all those points for our milk club is pretty darn easy. You just come to your shopper level that you want. You come to the point programs field right here, put your cursor in there, and put in whatever point program number or letter that you want. Now I'm going to select the number 9. Now, how do we get to number 9? Well, out of the box, SMS has 35 different point programs. There's the number 1 through 9, then the letters A through Z. 26 letters of the alphabet, 9 numerals. That's how we get the 35 point programs. You've probably heard that a gazillion times. Now, if you hear nothing else in this video, do me one favor and hear this. Do not, under any circumstance, make a club points program 1. The reason being, points program 1 in SMS is the main points program. So if you don't have a points program, a penny a point or a dollar a point or something like that set up today, doesn't mean you may not want to do that in the future. So points program 1 is set up to do those types of activities, the main point program. So under no circumstance should you use the number 1. You can use any number you like between 2 and 9, any letter you like, A to Z. The reason I chose 9 is because I got all those letters of the alphabet that I can use down the road, and I got the numerals 2 to 8 as well that I can use for future needs. So for setting up your points bucket, that's all there is to it. Just select the number or the letter, put it right here, make sure you go ahead and hit save so that that stays in there. Now also out of the box, with at least the versions of SMS that we have today, we don't have one of those handy dandy little tools here where I can just double tap in here and get a definition of my point program. You can see I got 1, 2, 3, but that's not real descriptive. So just a little helpful tip, create a quick little spreadsheet over in Excel or whatever program you like. Go ahead and put the point program numbers here and put the name. That way you've got a reference, or if you get hit by the bus, that type of syndrome, somebody else can know what those point programs are. Pretty quick, pretty easy little tip just for that. Now let's hop back over here and set up the items within our milk club. So I went ahead and opened up a basic item cost view, and I'm going to go ahead with my filter over here, select my category of milk, just like what you're used to, and I'm going to go ahead and filter that search and get all my milk items here. I don't know how many I've got. I've got about 7 here in my demo database. So in order to set up all of these milk items, because in my program, anytime a customer buys a gallon of milk or a half gallon of milk, I'm going to give them a point or a chit in the milk program. When they get to that 13th point or chit, whatever you want to call it, they get that 13th one for free. So all I'm going to do is bring in all the items, whatever makes the most sense, category, subdepartment, or you can do it one by one if you got nothing else to do. That's just fine. So we bring in our items, we highlight the first one in the list, we come down to our price table, we expand that out a little bit, and now we're going to set up all the items in the browser in one fell swoop for our point program. So in order to to associate all our items in our browser to Points Program 9, I'm just going to come down here in my regular price field to the method field right here. Now I'm going to show you a little cheat here because you may not remember this for later on. So all you have to do is double tap here in the method field and select Point Program 5, and you'll see it's going to populate with Point Program number 5. But remember, we use Point Program 9, so we're just going to go ahead and delete that 5 and put in 9. If you can remember the P, just go ahead and put P9. Otherwise, just double tap in here and select that, and you'll get the right little nomenclature right there. Now, one other thing to note, if in the future of this program or down the road a little bit you're going to have TPRs, sale prices set up, you're also going to set the P9 here and the P9 here in the sale price and the TPR respectively. Now in my scenario and in my program, every time a customer buys 1 gallon of milk, let's say, or one of the milk items in my browser, they're going to get a chit or a point. So all I have to do now is come down here to the points. I'm going to go ahead and put the number 1 in there. So every time they get one of these items up here in our browser, it's going to go to Point Program 9 and give them 1 point. One other thing to note, if you do TPR and sale prices throughout this promotion, put the number 1 here, put the number 1 here. In my promotion, in my Unreal world, I've only got regular price. I'm going to give the customers points in point bucket number 9, which is our milk club, and I'm going to give them 1 point for every time they purchase the item. Now what I'm going to do is simply come up here to the top of the price table. I'm going to hit this little thing that looks like an ear. It's going to pop up and say, do you want this change to affect all 7 items in the browser? Yep, I sure do, so I only have to do it once. So I'm going to type in the letters YES for yes, and then I'm only going to apply the changes. Now what that's going to do for all items in the browser is it's going to populate this method of a points 9, and it's also going to map in here only 1 point for each one of these items. Pretty cool, pretty easy, pretty quick. Find the items that you want to include in your club via the filter, bring them into the browser, go ahead and add the points program here in the method field, add the number of points that you're going to utilize, save this baby, or actually apply it all items in the browser, then you're ready to go. Okay, so we're flying through this bad boy here today. I went ahead to save a little time. I set up my electronic coupon item number. If you already have electronic coupon items set up in your system, go ahead and use that nomenclature and that sequence that you use. If you do not have any set up, please refer to the SMS user guide. I know my numbers and my sequences aren't correct. It's just for demo purposes in my Unreal world. But I've set this up. Most of you guys that have watched some of these videos know how to do a good portion of this. So you set it up, you put in your main item descriptors, Milk Club 13th free, I assign it as my category, my sub, I tell it enable 0 price, electronic coupon, and it's a store coupon. Now the magic is going to happen in the price table and the coupon link table. So let's get started on those. So to start building out the financial piece of this coupon, we're going to begin over here in the coupon link table. We're going to go ahead and add a record so that we can get started. By default, you're going to get the totalizer and accumulator here, right here as T and 3. Go ahead and leave those. We don't need to change those at all. Now remember what the coupon link is. It is the criteria. What's required for the customer to get this Milk Club's 13th milk for free. So what we're going to do is come down to the type field here. We're going to double tap, get our little handy dandy menu, and we're going to select points accumulated. And remember, we want points accumulated in what club? What program? Number 9. So I'm going to go ahead and put 9 there. So points from club 9, program number 9. Leave this the same. Like default, no issues. How many do we need? Well, the customer has to technically buy 13 milks in order to get that 13th one for free. So what we're going to say is quantity 13 here. This seems a little goofy, but remember what's going to happen out of the box with SMS. Every time the customer buys milks numbers 1 through 12, they're going to get a point in this club. When they buy the 13th milk, although they're going to get it free, they're still going to get a point in the club. So we're going to require 13 points within the program to be hit, and that's going to allow us to give this thing away for free. So we put 13 in the quantity. I'm going to come over here to method, I'm going to double tap, and I'm going to go ahead and select match with this item. That way the discount sticks right here with the milk item. So once we set up the criteria right over here, we just have to hop over to the price table and set up the discount. Now we're giving the 13th milk away for free. That's 100% discount. So we come right down here to the discount field and we go ahead and type in 100% discount. Now you have some options here if you want in the method field. I'm going to go ahead and leave it blank, but you could limit it by transaction if that's what you want. All you have to do is hit the handy dandy menu, limit by transaction, but we'll just leave it blank for these purposes. Now we just need to tell the coupon how many points to take and from what point point program. Pretty simple stuff. We come right down here to the redeem for discount or free and the point program. We come over here to the redeem for free and we're going to say 13 points. Remember, 13 points are what is required in order to get this coupon to fire. So we want to take all 13 away and we want to take those from Point Club number 9. We're going to go ahead and save that, and now let's go take this baby for a test drive. So I hopped over to my POS and we're going to test this baby out now. Now, one thing we haven't talked about, in order for this program or this type of club to be set up for the long haul, allow your customers to buy, in my case, milks over a period of time, you're going to have to identify those customers every time they come in your store. Now, whether you do that through a key fob, scanning a key fob barcode, or typing in their name or typing in the customer number, it doesn't matter. You're just going to have to identify the customer over the period of time for the promotion. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and bring in customer number 1. I'm going to use my flip chart to make it simple. Go into milk, buy that gallon, and then you can see already I'm getting a point in my point club for the milk program. Now, to make this simple, I'm just going to go ahead and change that quantity to 12 real quick. You can see I'm going to get 12 points. I'm going to subtotal out, cash out, and let's take a look at the receipt and what's happened. So on your receipt, you have the ability to show the customers the various point programs or the clubs that you've set up and the points that are in them. So you can see here, I went ahead and customized this totalizer here to tell it's my milk points balance. Now this totalizer is real easy to do. You can change that name really simply within SMS Pro. Just holler at your reseller and they'll do that for you. These other two aren't so easy. They're actually embedded into the receipt template file. I don't know how to do that, so if somebody out there does and wants to shoot me a video on how to do that, I'll be happy to do it. But I know your resellers can set this up, so it's milk points start 0, milk points given 12 in this case based on this transaction. So what do you think when this customer comes back in next week and we ring up a point? Well, let's see. All right, so a few weeks have gone by. The customer's already drank all those gallons of milk that he bought, to 12 of them. I'm going to go ahead and ring that customer back in. He signed in. I'm going to go to my flip chart. I'm going to go to my milk. I'm going to buy that milk. And you can see I'm getting my point there. I'm going to hit subtotal, and voila. Look at that. eStore coupon fired off. He got his milk for free. He's got 1 point here, so that was that little goofy thing that I told you that we got to take 13 points away. If we subtotal and cash this thing out, what you're going to see is his point balance now is 0 because he had 12. We added 1 because he bought that 13th milk, but we took 13 away. So now his milk points balance is 0. That's pretty darn cool. Well, with all 3 criteria met, that's it for this week's tip. Just remember, it doesn't have to be all about milk, and it can certainly be any quantity you like. I certainly look forward to seeing all the types of clubs that you can set up within your own store today. Until next time, have a great day.